That's
Thank
it.
you, Hannah.
Sure.
Sorry, AA
Feels like
happened, I
Al-Anon. Fuck.
guess. Thanks, Hannah. Okay. No,
Uh,
but like, thank you. Like, that's hard for the average person to share.
Sure thing.
yeah, and Jenna, I have admired you since the first time you were public about yours, and I was very envious because I was like, I can't do that. I can never come forward about that. Like, and I have always had tremendous respect for you for being so just forthcoming with that, because it's not easy. And I've sat here and watched other people open up about it, and I've bitten my tongue. You know, we did an episode on it, and I couldn't bring myself to actually like face it publicly, which I realistically I shouldn't be scared of. I mean, if someone thinks less of me, I guess that's more on them. I'm not the person I was.
That's like a really big step for you, because like I consider you one of my closest people, and I genuinely don't even know what story you're about to tell, which like I hope that doesn't put more pressure on you. I just
Thanks,
but
Hannah.
my point is that I'm really like proud of you for feeling, I don't know, like this is something you're ready to face, because I think people who face it and talk about it, it says a lot about them. And that's something I also have just adored about Jenna, is like the accountability you take for the part you play in all your experiences is like not something I'm used to, especially when talking to someone who's an addict, unfortunately. But it's like you're just like a very refreshing person with a lot of wisdom, and I adore you. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
This is gonna be one of those days where we're gonna probably
We're gonna
cry.
depress everybody for 2 weeks in a row. Okay, so it started the night my brother passed away. I had occasionally taken painkillers because I enjoyed them. But it was merely like, you know, I'm at the bar, instead of having a drink, I would take a painkiller. But I was not abusing it. And then the night my brother died, I went and bought a shit ton with some harmful intent. But instead, starting that night, I used them to dull the pain, because I could not live with the fact that my brother was gone. It was ripping me to pieces. Like I literally wanted to die. I was still a Christian at that point. I was begging God to just trade places and let me be dead and my brother be there, because he's a better person. And from that moment forward, I just started piling them back and, you know, fucking up my life a lot and making some really poor choices that affected the people around me. And I was just in so much pain that I couldn't stop. And by the time I wanted to stop, I couldn't stop, because, and every day I tried and I swore I was going to do it, and I didn't, because of how bad the withdrawals were. Because I was taking, I'm not going to say how many I was taking, but I was taking a lot. I am very lucky that I'm actually healthy for the most part and don't have liver or, you know, kidney problems, because it was excessive. And I just made so many bad choices, and it definitely affected the relationship I was in at the time. But most, it affected me, because it was just this continued downward spiral. Eventually, I went to a clinic that I had heard about, and from someone I knew who had a similar problem. And I went there. It was a shitty place. I felt like shit every day I went. But they got me on a treatment plan, and the place I went to was not a very good place. Like, you would go daily to get what you needed in the morning, and they didn't care about getting you off their version of medication. They wanted to keep you there and keep you paying money.
Oh my God. So
so
I'm sorry to jump in, but
jump in at any point.
get what you needed in the morning, meaning what?
Oh,
Like, you don't have to be specific, but
methadone.
oh, so they were like giving you just other drugs.
They prescribed you, methadone daily to
Interesting. Okay.
get off the painkillers.
Okay. To like help with
Well,
the withdrawal, or
yes.
okay. I guess
And
also, I'm sorry, I don't mean to like make it about me. I always forget that I lost someone to addiction, to an opioid addiction, and I forgot to mention that because I still feel like it didn't happen. So you reminded me, but not in a bad way. But yeah, preface that as well in my little blurb. But okay, no, that's interesting because I was like, wait, they were giving me more drugs, but I think people don't realize that getting off of painkillers and like opioids is not something you can really do cold turkey. It can be like fatal,
painful,
painful, lethal,
and dangerous if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have any kind of support. Because if you do slip up one time and you do the dose that you used to do thinking that it's just harmful, that's how a lot of people die.
Yep.
Right.
Sorry. Trigger warning.
Yeah. We should have said that at the beginning. We're going to talk
episode
about people dying.
is a trigger warning.
Yeah.
And if you need help, I added a link to the description. The number is 800-662-4357. That's the thing. It can, and it does get better. But to continue where I left off,
Sorry. Yeah.
No, that was completely.
Put 3 ADHD people together in one video about something serious and you'll get something interesting.
Oh yeah, my friend died.
And look at all three of us are laughing now.
Yeah, no.
You called it nervous laughter.
Yeah.
Okay,
so you were in this clinic.
Oh,
Sorry.
yes. So but it was really genuinely not a place that was helping you. It was giving you another addiction. Now I'm sure that it did help some people. It helped me. I needed it at the time. But eventually I saw motivation from somebody I know who came clean, and that was my motivation, that and wanting to get my life together and to stop feeling, because I've constantly felt sorry for myself, and to stop feeling sorry for myself. And I was like, I've got to get off this shit. So I started going down, and they make you see the doctor repeatedly, and they kept telling me I was going down too fast, and they were advising against it. And I'm like, look, I'm fine. It's time. And then they started screwing with me. So I had been considered what was like, they had different levels of care, and I was like in the advanced level where I only had to go in once a week, and they give you like your week's worth of medication, because I had constantly like peed clean. I never had any issues. I was continual. So they then all of a sudden out of nowhere decided to make me start coming in again multiple times a week. And then they started refusing to go down on my dosage. And I'm like, I'm getting pissed, and I'm arguing with them. I'm like, look, I'm trying to come clean. They're like, no, you're doing it wrong. You need to keep doing this. And this place was driving me nuts. So eventually, and I'm not advising other people do this, I'm only telling my story. I was done. I fucking walked. I was like, I don't care about this shit anymore. I don't need it. I'm done. I walked out. I never went back, and have not since had an issue. When they called me a few days later, and when I told them I was done, I didn't want any more. Do you know what the lady said to me? She goes, yeah, you'll be back. Like, I wanted to go like, fuck you. But if that wasn't like the final nail in the coffin of me being like, no, I'm not. I'm done. Like,
That is like the opposite of supportive.
they were not supportive at all. They wanted your money. They wanted to keep you there. And I became friends with one of my counselors who had left, and she was just telling me about the owners and how shitty they were and how they just wanted to keep people going there weekly.
Corrupt
So
as hell.
yeah, it's
Okay.
fucked up.
We're
And
gonna
it's
have-
not.
We're gonna have to look more at that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Like,
oh my
Where
God,
are these
I'm sorry.
people, and are they still functioning like as a?
Oh, there's still a functioning place, absolutely. Like, but I
Leave
mean,
a
dude,
really
there's
bad review.
times like people would go in there and you knew they were like effed up, and it was still
I wonder.
like,
There's got to be, this is. There's got to be somewhere we can call, like some hotline or a helpline or a help center, or you know what I mean. 1-855 I need help center. Do you know what I'm
right.
saying? Because y'all are both looking like like I'm crazy.
You mean
No,
to like
I meant like
report them?
for if you're to report them, or if you have an addiction.
Well, to report the fact that he has requested like multiple times to work on getting off of his drugs and the kind of treatment that he's getting.
Yeah, that makes me really angry because I feel like they're capitalizing on your on your addiction.
Absolutely. Ameet, the replacement, was addictive as well. Yes, 100%. You cannot go cold turkey off that either. There was a doctor that worked there. The rest were counselors.
That's what I mean. This sounds like really, really like shady, kind of like
It sounds
people
like
dealing drugs in the back of the bar.
Legally. Yeah.
It sounds like I had a boyfriend, and you can look this up. Paris Hilton got sent to something very similar. I don't know if you know those like youth crisis camps that troubled teens get sent to. There's one in Utah, which is actually the one where my ex was sent. And he was there from the time he was like 14 to 18, just in some like drug addict boot camp for kids where they were not like qualified to be handling people like that. There's like a whole expose that Paris Hilton just did on it, and that's like what it reminds me of. Like, it is just fucked up. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. I wish I knew what it was called, but
yeah, the place was fucked up. It was just replacing one addiction with another,
making you dependent on them, so you give them money.
So you keep paying them every single.
I'm really sorry you went through that, and it's something I feel like you should talk about, because there's you'd be surprised how many other people have the same experience as you.
And I've gone through different phases and different thoughts on addiction itself. For a while, I would say, I was an addict, but I don't know like enough to even be talking about this to a certain extent, but I'm only trying to talk about it from my own experiences. But like, for me, I am in no danger of relapse. I am not at risk. My brain rewired itself, and I no longer find it rewarding. I've been exposed to them since when I had surgeries, and there was no issue. It's just,
oh really?
It's like I can be around it
without, or be around it, or like, did you have to refuse the prescription?
Oh no, I took them. I took a couple for like the first 2 days because I was in pain, and I threw the rest away.
That's
like
really huge. That's amazing.
I'm don't know how to describe it, but I'm one of the lucky ones where I can be exposed to it. I haven't counted days or years, months or years. It's just
not part of your life.
As far as I'm concerned, it's not in my mind, it's in my past.
That's really
great. And I'm really lucky. But the damage was definitely done in the sense of my ADHD, Jenna and Hannah, is way worse now than it was before. It fundamentally changed the way my brain works, because I am far more mentally ill now than I was before. I struggle way harder. Like, I crack under pressure. I used to never crack under pressure. Shit never bothered me before. But since this event, and since, well, I shouldn't forget adding the epilepsy to it. That fucked up my brain as well. But
Yeah. I didn't mean to say
it's
it like that. Yeah.
yeah. Dude, I have like this crackhead's brain where it's just like go, 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 go. There's always a million thoughts running in it. Certain medications have helped slow it down and mitigate it. But what I wouldn't give to have like my old ADHD brain back, because let me tell you, this is not fun. I can't focus on shit. I can't remember anything. It's really annoying.